I'm here with CJ on 18th and Castro. He's a nudist and an activist, and he's going to tell us more about what he's activating about. And CJ, hi, welcome to the program. You're a nudist. You're actually naked here in the wind, actually, here in...
Yeah.
You're a brave man for doing this.
I'm a brave man for doing this in the wind, I can tell you that.
Right. Why?
Why?
I understand there's no statutes against this. You're allowed to do this. You're not breaking any laws.
Okay. Well, San Francisco itself has no laws against nudity. Therefore, it falls back on California Penal Code. And according to California Penal Code Section 314, in order to be guilty of a misdemeanor, you have to be willfully lewd. If you're simply just naked, there is not an issue. But if you're being provocative, or if you're provoking someone else, then that is cause for getting yourself in trouble. Now, just because it's legal to be naked here doesn't mean it's safe to do it everywhere. Certainly not. And it doesn't mean that people are not going to get irate and complain. And I'd say complaints happen almost on a daily basis. Every other day, every other time I come out here, a policeman will pull up to me and say they've received a complaint from someone, and they'll ask me to put my clothes on. Now, it is legal for an officer to ask you to put your clothes on, but on the other hand, why? If I'm offended by someone not wearing a shirt, if I'm offended by someone's hat, can I call the police and ask them to rectify the situation? Yeah. And the police will laugh at me and say, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. It ain't illegal." Well, so is what I'm doing. But as with many minorities which are oppressed, as we've gone through history, we find out that in order to assert our rights, we have to do it, and sometimes we may have to get in trouble doing it. Now, an officer could arrest me, but it would be a false arrest. The district attorney is not interested in dealing with people who are simply nude. If you got arrested by an officer and got hauled off to jail, then you have a perfect right to follow up and with a false arrest report and make a complaint against that officer and get him into trouble. So even though they may talk a lot, you may find out that they're often very reluctant to actually follow through on doing something. But the harassment is not fun. I mean, we're simply here exercising a right of freedom. This is the clothing we choose to wear. I've got socks on, I've got a hat, I've got glasses sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing lewd about it. We were born this way. One of the sayings on my webpage says, I think I borrowed it from someone, but it says, if we were meant to be naked, we would have been born this way. Well, we were born this way. It's usually the people who complain are people who really are complaining just for their own sake, because they feel like we shouldn't be doing it. They want to impose their feelings on what is right and wrong on someone else.
The impression I get, I mean, you actually have a gorgeous body. I mean, although I think basically body type shouldn't necessarily be a precursor to being nude.
It shouldn't.
But it definitely helps to have, if you have the David-esque body that you can admire as a piece of work in yourself.
Well,
but do you find that how many people do you have to practice your nakedness in the streets of San Francisco alone, or are you doing it? Do you have to have your buddies around you for that sense of extra security? I mean,
well, there is certainly strength in numbers. But the first time I did this was not very long ago, less than 3 weeks.
Wow.
And I did it on my own. I didn't have anyone else around me to do it. I'd been thinking about it, and I just decided that the social taboos needed to be addressed. And it is a great great sense of feeling of exhilaration to break free of some of these societal taboos. But as I said, there are places you wouldn't want to do it. You'd be dangerous. You could get your head bashed in, you could get shot, you could get kicked. And it certainly helps to have fellow nudists around. One of the many things that would go on in San Francisco, you've got the Beta Breakers, which nude people run in, and you've got nude bicycle groups that, such as the World Naked Bike Ride that took place just a couple of weeks ago, and you'll find people ride naked in the critical mass bike rides on the end of the month, and I did last month myself.
Oh, good.
Along with Bear over here and a couple of other of my naked friends. And it's not just a gay thing. It's men, women, straight, gay, whatever. Just so happens that this is a gay neighborhood, so you're not likely to find a lot of straight guys walking around naked here.
What kind of reactions do you get from people as you walk around naked?
Generally, 99% of the reactions are very positive. Many people say, that's very courageous, wish I could do that. I'll say to them, okay, let's see you do it. And then they say, well, not yet. People are very positive. Occasionally you'll come across a person who isn't.
Even in this neck of the woods.
And they'll say, put your pants on. About 3 days ago, I was outside Starbucks, and a car passed by me, and a guy in the car yelled out at me to put my clothes on or he'd call the police. Well, sure enough he did. I went into Starbucks, put my shorts on when I went into Starbucks, of course, because it's up to the owners of the store to decide, you know, if they will permit any nudity in the store or not, and most of them don't or don't want to.
Right.
So anyway, come back out and take my shorts off, and a policeman pulls up, and he asks me to put my shorts on because he received a complaint. So I complied.
Oh.
At this point, I'm not armed with enough knowledge or enough resources to be able to tackle the system. But at some point, I hope to be.
Well, thank you very much for being such a great spokesman. I really appreciate you taking time. I know it's very windy, so get some clothes on. Okay, thank you, CJ.
Thank you.
Thank you.